everybody. How you doing? How you doing? Welcome. This is our third day, I think officially. Yeah, is it third? Yes, officially third day of the morning show. Hanging out. New environment. I'm out on my work desk. Those over there. That would be costumes from Sexy Liberal. You'll see on a giant rack right over there. Um, Lots of craziness in that pile. I could probably do an episode a day just on that stuff. But welcome. Thanks for joining us. Just here, doing it in the morning. It's just so much. And there's a lot to cover, obviously, in the world of internet trends. Let's just say, I've been, I get up. I think a lot of you guys, and welcome as everybody gathers in. I will eventually, let's see, get around to figuring out how we incorporate the chat, as it were. Three pieces of business as we start today. Welcome to Monday and another week in 2021, which is, it's a mixed bag compared to last year. But of course, and then of course, on top of that, I will be on the Midas Touch Brothers podcast later on today at, I believe it's 1 o'clock their time, my time, 1 o'clock my time, their time, something like that. Anyways, follow at Midas Touch and it'll come up on there. They're sending me a link in a few minutes. And then my show will be on the regular at 3 o'clock. And hey, there's somebody in there. Hold on one second. I'm going to bring up my chat, and then we will let's see. I know I have the restream chat in here on this iPad, I thought. Nope, maybe not. I was hoping, but perhaps no. Okay, so restream, so I can look at everybody. And good morning, and hello, and let's see. Oh, hold on. Log in. Oh, for Pete's sake, it doubled up my password. Very strange. There we go. Now I think it should be working, and then I can bring you guys up. And good morning. Hi. How are you? Hope all's well. Do I sound okay? Is everything? Can you hear everything all right? I hope so. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's fairly solid this fine morning. I've been like straightening and de-straightening all over the place. Let me move this over here so I can have a better look at you guys. I've been kind of organizing and doing a lot of setup in my off hours when I, do the 3 o'clock show. I have to say, like, the lead up of the hour coming into it and the hour afterwards is a lot of, it's a lot of work. It's just a lot of work. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, takes a lot of focus, a lot of time, a lot of, and luckily, I guess, because of the shape of the show and I'm improvising the whole thing. I mean, sure, would it be easier to be Bill Maher and do it once a week for an hour with cue cards? Maybe. But, when you can do it live for, 2-3 hours a day, completely based on wit and ability, it's a different kind of a show. That's all I'm saying. And as I, kind of prep for what I'm doing, I run that kind of balanced gamut between, being completely unprepped, which is my preferred form of art, or having some sort of or over prepping, I guess. I try to find the sweet spot. So good morning, everybody. There you guys at lunch in the microwave. Yes, there is a time difference as well. Chat is coming up on there. Love live, excellent. And I'm glad it sounds good. Excellent. Okay. Our Facebook fans are waiting. Our friends are waiting. Oh, is Facebook? Facebook's up. It should be up. Somebody's referencing Captain Astro. That's adorable. Anyways, today let's take a look at and see if I can get this working properly. If I can squeeze this little guy down here and move it over here so I can actually see. I made up a little comm page. Hey, look at that. There it is. And there's the chat room. There you guys are. Look at that. Hi, everybody. Mind your manners. That's all I ask. Try to be a person. Don't, and everybody, let me know if something crazy starts happening above my head. You do look fabulous. I agree. So, I think the first thing that jumped out at me this morning was Stephanie Grisham, who's the former White House press secretary for Melania, and was, I think, chief of staff for her. Yeah. Anyways, she's got a gnarly book coming out, like, Fire and Fury, but from a friend, is the idea. And they've been pushing this for a little bit. Let's take a look, shall we? She seems a happy person. I can't imagine why you wouldn't hire her. She looks like a church lady. Well, if you want to wear masks, then that's up to you. But at least we know who worships Satan. According to her tell-all book, Stephanie Grisham says she texted Melania at 1:25 p.m. on January 6th. Do you want to tweet that peaceful protests are the right of every American, but there's no place for lawlessness and violence? No. P.S. Fuck the Christmas. This book is, they're doing the hard sell on this one. This is definitely, there's been a few of these books, obviously, mostly written by reporters. This is really the first insider book that I know of that isn't just kind of like, yeah, we hung around or we talked or we were really close with. This is from an actual person within it. And there will be, considering how hard a time these people are having getting a job after being in the Trump administration, there's going to be a lot more of these books. And as he toys with the idea of running in 2024, which he is not going to do, he will wait till the very last second and then say, I'm going to play Kingmaker, because that super PAC money, it's just, you can do whatever you want with it, I guess. So there you go. That's fascinating to me. We will see as that comes out. Let's see what else was in the that Jared. That scares me. I don't know what would be worse in the trending of the name Jared, Kushner or the Subway guy. And there seems to be a lot of ethical overlap in these two guys. Yeah, exactly. Jesus. Jared Leto. I feel a bit bad for Jared Leto. Okay, so it's mostly Jared Leto fans. Okay. Phew. All right, what's up next in our Thank COVID-19 news and updates in California? Now, I get that all the time. This is part of my regular trend. It's, whether anything's changing or not. By the way, this TIFF thing right here, all eyes are on Jessica Chastain following the show-stopping world premiere of Eyes of Tammy Faye. I have never seen a more complete PR push in my life that was so ubiquitous and sort of almost overwhelming. And the wording is almost the same, as if you're seeing 9 different sources where you pay a publicist, you do a breakdown, the network or the studio does a breakdown of what they want to focus on in articles about whatever the project is or the actor involved. This happens all the time, by the way, and it should. It's fine. It's all part of the normal, it's all part of doing business. But usually what you try to do is you get someone to interpret your PR push, right, and convert it into a personal article, something that looks like it was actually written by a human. More and more, there's AI software that writes articles, and you put in the PR thing and it will crank out a variance on it, and the variance is almost identical, and the titles of them become identical, and then they just pump them out on the website of their publication. So that's the stuff that shows up in your Twitter and Facebook and I suppose Instagram feeds as well. So be on the lookout for that. You'll see more and more of it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look at, I think it's called Writer, RITR.com, which is an AI writing software that, and you put in like a breakdown of what you are, whatever the topic is, and you just go, and then you ask for a paragraph, and it'll populate it with kind of scenery wording. It's not gripping writing. It's just discussing the topic of Jessica Chastain. Like that kind of stuff. You'll see a lot of that. Oscar bait, exactly. But it's become, there's always been Oscar bait, but it is now automated in large part. Fiona Apple, it's her birthday today. Happy birthday, Fiona Apple. It is also Dave Mustaine's birthday. I'm waiting for their birthday album. I think there should be a law in the music industry that artists that have the same birthday should have to put out an album together. And I'm willing to throw myself under the bus, because that means I'd have to do a rap album with Will Smith. It just would be weird. Or he'd have to sing. That would be the work or whatever. Jeremy Renner's trending because they just dropped the Hawkeye series trailer, which looks pleasant and slightly morose. And it's set in Christmas, into Christmas. And it really is just so that they can have a female Hawkeye. What are Hollywood? Ethan Hawke joined TIFF 21. And yeah, there's a lot of the TIFF stuff is showing up in my chat. I think that's a promo thing, and I must be on their target list for where I am. Whatever TIFF is comes up, and then of course Mitch McConnell, because he's in a photo with Amy Coney Barrett when they got her on the Supreme Court, and therefore she just had that statement where she doesn't want the Supreme Court to look like it's partisan, which just means she doesn't want to hang out with Brett Kavanaugh anymore, who has to smell like Pabst and be a little pushy. The story about Joe Manchin, of course, right now is that he doesn't want the $3.5 trillion opinion. Joe Manchin selfishness. Yes, whatever. Okay, hasn't got what he wants yet, and that gives the White House and the left leverage. Okay. Representative Katie Porter ripped into Joe Manchin over the budget bill. Katie's great. So, and again, this has more to do with the politics of West Virginia than it has to do with Joe Manchin on a personal level. Yeah, do I think? Yeah, he's tied into. A lot of people are putting a lot of weight on it's because he's tied in with coal money and he doesn't want the environmental stuff. Yeah, coal's, everybody in West Virginia knows coal's on the way out. So I don't know how much I buy into that part of it. I would really want to see a disclosure of investments to get a real picture of what might be the hangup in that regard. You know what I mean? Adam Driver, probably, there's standing things. A lot of, there he is shirtless, and there he is with armor on. There's people looking at their iPads with Adam Driver on it. Just hilarious. Oh, and then, of course, I was looking at Cricks and Liars this morning, so there you go. See, you know what I mean? Like, my agent gives me crap for having my hair long right now. You can always cut it. I'm not going to. I'm not cutting it. But you can. You always can. Captain Cheeto. Good Will Hunting 2 is going to be lit. Started raining in South Texas. That's good news. Ask Lindsey Graham about Joe Manchin. Yeah, Manchin is a douche, and his daughter, oh my God, that Epipen scam. That's a company-based thing. Again, that's not going to amount to a hill of beans. Everybody thinks that's going to be leverage. Like Kyle, what's his name, was saying that like Biden should use Manchin's daughter's involvement with the Epipen and blackmail him about the DOJ looking into it. There is no crime there. It might be unethical. They might pay a fine, But in no way, look, they decided with the Epipen, for those of you who don't know, to do the exact same thing that Alka-Seltzer did. Alka-Seltzer used to be sold in rolls, okay? And I'm serious about this as a marketing thing. Alka-Seltzer used to come in rolls, and people would they'd buy a roll, and it would just sit there in the cabinet, and they would use one every so often, right? Whenever they had an upset stomach. So they came up with this idea of packaging them in small envelopes where there were 2 in there, and then selling that you needed 2 in your glass for the same effect, which you don't. So plop, plop, fizz, fizz, oh, what a relief it is. Remember that? Okay. They doubled sales with that ad campaign. Did you need more of the product? No, you did not. That's where that came from. So with the Epipen, what they were trying to do was make people buy them in packs of 2. Now, there's a couple of reasons why they do that. One is schools usually buy a certain amount, or they wait till the last minute to re-up, or they keep 1 there. And usually it's organizations that are buying EpiPens. Cops, teachers, are the ones that use them the most. So schools, police departments, EMTs, they're buying multiple packs of them, right? And you don't want to use one and then, if you have a school and some kid has got a peanut allergy and he's not the only one, and both kids with a peanut allergy are in the lunchroom at the same time, one of them falls over, the other one goes over to check on them, not realizing it's because of the peanut butter sandwich, and they both need an EpiPen and you only have one, then you have to call the EMTs for the other kid. And so their thinking was, we'll just get everybody to buy 2. Now, they expire, though. EpiPens they don't last forever. So if you don't use 1, you're not going to use 2, and it's double the waste. If you do need them both, however, that's a life saved. So that welcome to the argument that would be made in court the day anyone ever brought this as a charge anywhere. Am I arguing the good or the bad ethics of it? No, I am not. Am I arguing the morality of it? No, I am not. I am telling you what the argument in court is, and therefore it's a fine. It's not worth the leverage. It won't happen. Would it be nice if it could? If it was enough to manipulate Joe Manchin? Yes, I suppose. But it would require dead kids for that to happen. And that would be on the receiving side of a school would have to prove they couldn't afford it, which no school could prove that, or environment. They couldn't afford to buy 2. They could only buy 1, that kind of thing. When it's individuals, they supplement them. If you need help paying for your medications, AstraZeneca can help. Right. So in this particular instance, there is the only downside that could be made in court would more than likely be that a school didn't purchase 2 and they needed 2. Didn't the Epipen 2 in a package for over $100? You got rid of single packs. People couldn't afford the medicine to live. Nicole, the idea is that they supplement individuals, or you can get a prescription where they cover for it. Most of the time, no. If you're at that level and your kid has that, there's between S-chip and other like the situation where there's a kid who couldn't afford it or a family couldn't afford it because they have to buy 2 instead of 1, is hyper rare and certainly statistically isn't going to affect the behavior of the company or their legal responsibility. I'm not telling you how it should be. I'm telling you how it is. My daughter has get the Epipen prescription filled to take it to school. The school does not purchase it for the medical office. Right. Some do, some don't, Anita. Again, sometimes it's curious, but sometimes when I make these arguments, when I tell you guys like legally why they haven't gone after somebody, or legally why, somebody hasn't been arrested for something, or blah, blah, blah. Occasionally I will see people get mad at me, especially on Twitter. Obviously, that's the place to talk about, for saying basically the reality of it. I'm not arguing how things should be in those circumstances. I'm telling you what is. and a lot of times how easy it is to make a counter argument, especially in a court setting, that will make it essentially a wash. That said, I think the entire Sackler family should be in jail. See what I'm saying? But you can see how they were able to, like, using current law and all that, were able to manipulate it. Somebody was talking about on Twitter, and I started into this conversation about how Joe Biden, he was like, Joe Biden with the stroke of his pen could decriminalize marijuana and release 40,000 people who are in jail for weed. Okay, first of all, there are not 40,000 people who are just in jail for weed. Not anymore. There used to be. That number has dwindled immensely because the state doesn't want to pay for nonviolent drug offenders. They've used every excuse they can. Even red states don't care. They essentially, their hope, because that's part of their budget. That's part of the federal government being involved in their budget. There's a lot of reasons why even red states are letting a lot of this shit slide. It's just true. The folks that are in for quote unquote just weed for a lot of times is because they're either gathering evidence on them for another case, or they had a witness die in a murder case with them, and they're like holding them because weed is illegal for a time. It's increasingly the normalcy of that, because states just don't want to pay for nonviolent drug offenders. They just don't. And that's the state expenditure. The other thing is that Biden could not, with a stroke of his pen, release state prisoners who violated state law. Hence the whole idea that Trump, the SDNY and New York can go after Trump, and his pardons can't protect some of the other people that they're going after in these situations. There's a reason for that. It's because the president can't pardon state crimes. So, let's see. Money in red states is why they've turned to cannabis. Please stop calling it weed. It's not PC. It doesn't matter if it's not PC. I know tons of people who sell cannabis and call it weed. I'm not getting caught up in that's a bad word and it makes people feel bad nonsense. Honest to God. There's some real situations where that's necessary. I'm not using any racial epithets anytime soon, but I'm not going to be upset about how a plant is described by people who have businesses selling pot that call it weed themselves. Come on. Simmer. I'm just not. They've gotten rid of mandatory minimum sentences. In some instances, yeah. Yet people are still being arrested for minimal amounts. I'm in Florida. I'm not surprised. They're not being arrested for minimal amounts. They're using the minimal amount laws to arrest them for other stuff. Because if they just have the minimal amount, they let them go. It's a waste of money. It's a waste of time. The cops don't care, especially not now, especially in places like Florida. They let it slide all over the place. There was a gun in the car. We don't know if the gun is yours, and it's going to take us time to find out, and you were on your way to kill somebody. So we're going to bust you for the weed or whatever you have, the minimal amounts in your car. That happens all the time. And so the 40,000 people he's talking about have either other pending charges with them, or they have it, along with a list of stuff. They're in there for murder, but they also had weed on them. And that was part of the case somehow. Either they were delivering, and the only people that, that technically speaking, Biden could have an effect on are people who dealt across state lines or carried across state lines. So it was a federal case. Well, even in that circumstance where, the FBI or state police is involved in task force, that's dealing. There's massive dealing going on. So there's this sort of kind of ongoing illusion about drug policy in the United States that it's the same it was when Nixon was president. And it just isn't. We all know it isn't, especially in the bigger states, especially in Florida and Texas and California and New York. Illinois, there's a lot of letting it slide. So if there's somebody in jail for just weed, they absolutely should be out of. That's just ridiculous. It's a waste of money. It's a waste of resources. It's a waste of time. Jails should be for violent criminals you fear will reoffend, or people who have to pay some sort of penance to society for the severity of their crime. But the idea that nonviolent drug offenders need to be in jail at all, especially when they're not dealing, when they're just users, I mean, it's an absurdity. Most states are on board with that these days anyways, if only for budgetary reasons. Don't get don't believe for a second it has anything to do with that. Like all of a sudden they've had a great awakening where they're like, this is immoral, silly. It's like, yeah. So, anyways, I don't know why we've been talking about this with Adam Driver on the screen. It's not his fault. But let's see. Here's the DNC. This dude, right? U.S. Capitol Police say they arrested a California man who had multiple knives in his truck, which had a swastika and other white supremacist symbols painted on it near the DNC headquarters early morning. This is the dude in the DNC headquarters in California, I think, because there's a couple of guys who had planned to attack, so that's not surprising. There's 340 million people in the United States. Of course, we have a lot of lunatics. I don't know why I get like ads. I'm gonna reopen this page and we'll take a peek at what comes up next. What is the appeal of Big Brother or The Bachelor? Or, I mean, is it just Survivor, but for people who don't like sand? I really, these things. Thanks, Gambit Mojo. Do I need anything? Yes, I need people to like and subscribe and watch the show later on this afternoon. Of course, join me on Midas Touch this afternoon when I'm on their show. That would be helpful. I also need a new publicist, but we'll talk about that later. Because the industry is basically shut down on a bunch of fronts. There's no way I can afford to pay what I used to have to pay all the time. And yet, the need is still there. So, any recommendations are welcome. Tweet me, DM. Yeah, legit, not just like, I'll do it. That won't work. I'm sorry. I appreciate it, but that won't work. But thanks for asking. Like and subscribe. Give a thumbs up. Here we go. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's going to be. Oh, and Rose McGowan. So Rose McGowan is supporting Larry Elder. Here's my question about Rose McGowan, besides the fact that she's clearly a lunatic. Is you... And Larry Elder is tweeting this out. Rose joins recall. There are 47 people running in the recall. 47. And Rose McGowan wants you to support Larry Elder. Not any of the other 46 people running. Larry Elder. Larry Elder, who is a fan of George Zimmerman, who wouldn't have voted for the Civil Rights Act, and would overturn Roe if he had a chance. Works closely with Stephen Miller, who created the child separation, mandatory child separation rules under the Trump administration. Just gross. So the idea would be is if you think that Gavin's got to go and the recall has ground, and that's really your pure reasoning, then why would you clamor to Larry Elder's pant leg as opposed to support someone else in it? Because they, quite frankly, it doesn't matter. The person who's winning in that only has to be ahead by a little bit, a couple points. So if you actually think you're helping, you could make a 2% difference possibly in any of these other folks and swamp Larry Elder in this situation. This is the problem with the recall in California, is they have somebody who could win 12% of the vote and be governor of the state. That's absurd. That's ridiculous. That's not democracy. So that's the part that really stuck out for me, was that not so much that she, the accusations and the stuff that she's making, there's no way to vet any of what she's talking about in that regard. The weird part is that she supports Elder and not anybody else. Rose McGowan backs Larry Elder in final days before recall, criticizes BLM. Well, there you have it. So, anyways, that's and then of course all the Trumpers are now Rose McGowan fans, and get ready for her to be the new Kevin Sorbo. The problem though is that this has happened before. They brought her on shows to talk about stuff, and then she sort of morally, emotionally, and psychologically crawls out a window during the broadcast, and they're like, not again. So yes, tomorrow is the recall election. I voted no on it as a California voter, and I recommend it. It's a good feeling, really is. But again, this is, it would be less of a big deal if she had just come out and been for the recall and whatever. I wouldn't have had much of a feeling. It's just odd that she chose Larry Elder in this regard, right? So, so these are going to be the run through. So that gives us, that's our first half hour of hanging out. So let's go to the chat, shall we? Hold on, let me go here, and I'll go to me. Hi, everybody. It's choppy. That's very strange. Well, I've got a different computer set up out here, so it's not quite as good as what I'm used to. Is there a... Right. I can't tell if there's a filter on it that's making everything choppy or if it's just me. It's flickering. Well, it's just a morning show, so we're just hanging out. It's just pretend I'm like Buster Keaton, just flickery as it goes. So hi everybody, hi chat room. Let me do this real quick too. I'll open up the chat up here so I can actually see it, which would be very helpful for me. Call that sucker up. See how that goes. Put it up on the screen. There's and I'm of course glad to take any of your more ridiculous questions. That would be that's what I'm interested in this morning. We'll get into the politics and stuff later on. We'll get into Trump's calling boxing and Rudy Giuliani's drunk speech, and much laughter will be had. Oh, thanks for subscribing, Theodore. Appreciate it. Don't forget infotainmentwars.com. Like and subscribe. And I'll better the setup out here. This is the first time I moved out of the main office, into what's effectively just my game room, living room area. The chug is real. Hal, what do you do, WH? What's WH? With my hair? Voted no on the recall. Good job, Susanna. Rose McGowan claimed the government, what? Sorry? Claimed the government, bribed her with Weinstein. She is saying, crazy chick. Yeah. How is there a plan for all of us to get together? Of course there is, but after Delta passes, that would be good. Hi, folks. How, what do you do when your dog won't stop chasing the Swiffer? I don't have a dog, but I do have a kitten right now with a leaky butt. So we're working on that. It's just, oh my God. So some of you may know we're fostering a kitten right now. And he came to us with a leaky squirty butt, and now we've given him medicine, and he's getting a little more solid. He has, it's working. It's taking time. However, he is also gassy. He's less poopy. We've had to wash the comforter in hot water. He is less poopy, but he is gassy. And it's old, like, these are Gary Busey farts. These are Wednesday after Taco Tuesday, Gary Busey farts after a cheese, kale, and cigarette bender, just eating fistfuls of cigarettes. It's just, I can't even. Oh, God. Is he Bill the Cat from Bloom County? He's pretty close. It's brutal. And he's so adorable and has no idea. Like, he's just farting up a storm. And you're like, dude. And he's like, I didn't even realize. Something happening? Are the other cats safe? Yes, we're keeping them separate. Oh, my God. 3 bowls of cornflakes, that'll do it. Sorry, Eric. Poor little thing. Don't give him any canned cat food. Tuna from a can works on my poop cat. Okay, thanks. We will try everything. Man. So, nice Steve Martin poster. He's really fun. And the new show, Only Murders in the Building. I've been enjoying it. I don't like the fact that I have to wait till Tuesday. That's Fletch, Vibes, Lab Rats, Man with 2 Brains. My giant signature. My cool symbol. Oh, and that's Tack from Tack and the Power of Juju, my Nickelodeon cartoon. Yeah. So, all right, this has got to, hold on one second. I'm going to fix something real quick. Oops, give me 1 second. Sorry, I was trying to fix the camera because it was choppy. I think I've solved it. I hope so. There we go. Welcome back, everybody. How you doing? So yeah, hi. All right. What else do we have down here that's fun to look at and kind of cool that I can show everybody? That's kind of interesting. That's it. I did a tour on Stuttering John's show a while back. Thanks, CSL. Appreciate it. I'm working on it, piece by piece. So here we go. When am I next on the Stephanie Miller Show? On the 20th. I will be on the 20th, just so you know. And hair looks fabulous. Thank you. I didn't get to do much with it this morning, but it's a little poofy near the sides. I have to trim it a little on the sides because it's getting a little carried away. And hello to everybody. Hal, you mentioned the Midas Touch podcast. Could you please tell me more about it so I can listen today? Yes. Let me find it on here real quick. Their link, I'm sure, let's see. Let's see, hold on. I will search it out for you. There we go. So if you go to MidasTouch.com, the information will be on there. I think let's see, I think they will be, let's see, podcast. So I think they do it live. I'm pretty sure. But it's available everywhere. It's just under Midas Touch. .com/podcast. Yeah. So, and I think they film it, then they post it. So, yeah. think there it is. They're those are their videos. Okay, hold on one second. Just seeking this thing on YouTube. Yeah. So Midas Touch is literally just look up Midas Touch on YouTube. And they will go yeah. So I'm fairly certain they may live stream it or they may just post it right after. But yeah, there you go. Yep. So that's the plan. So yeah, thank you, CSL. Yeah, so youtube.com/channel/C/Midas Touch. That'll take you there. I'm doing it today, and it will either be on live or they'll put it up right afterwards. I believe it's at at WCPT shows weekend shows. I did. All right. Let me see if I can find the exact time when I will be doing it, and then there we go. Sent me a link. Yeah. So 1 p.m. Eastern time. So and in a little over an hour. Yeah. So there you go. Yeah. Well, actually, sorry. I think at 10. So they're going to send me this or whatever. So that's, yeah. So basically, I had planned on buttressing up because it's 9:44. I keep thinking it's 8. I don't know why. But anyways, I've got to, as a matter of fact, I'm going to hop off early so that I could jump over there. And the keyboard is not currently hooked up. Otherwise, I would love to, that's next. It's hooked up, but it's not, the sound from it does not run through the software yet. So that I'll do later on, just so I can do a Terry Jones naked. All right. Yes, 15 minutes from now. So I'm gonna actually hop off early because I got to move to the other room. I was thinking about doing it in here, but the choppy video makes me second guess that thing. That's why I would do that. But yeah. Hello, Canadians. Welcome. What is your daily show schedule again? 3 p.m. Pacific time, PST, every day except Thursday and Sunday. So, and Saturday. So weekly, 5 days a week, at 3 p.m. Pacific time, Monday through Friday, except on Thursday, we're on at 4, an hour later, because we have family FaceTime at 3 o'clock. And then Saturday, I have my radio show, 9 to 11 a.m. Pacific time again. And then Sunday, it depends on if there's a big event or something. Sometimes I will hop on. Most days, that's my day for fixing everything that's broken the rest of the time, which is a lot. I know. Anyways, all right, I'm going to sign off. I will see you guys later. Peace and be wild. I think this will work. We'll see.